Okay, next on our list, we are going to go. I'm not the best rounded in remembering who all these characters are, but right now I am going to move all of the freedom fighters into C tier because I'll explain here in a moment, but I did briefly touch on why. Everybody except for the leader. They're more filler characters. They're just little fun ones for like a one-off episode. And I know that they show up later, but it's really just to put the plot forward. And it also doesn't make sense that they go to Bossing and say when they wanted to fight off the Fire Nation. Okay, so that's why I put them in C, because they're more filler and then they kind of just try and use them for the plot, but it doesn't go very well. Jet is going to go into B tier. The only reason why I do think that he goes above the rest of his crew is that he is the leader and he just fully gets killed. I don't remember if it was ever fully canonized that he just gets killed in that moment, but I'm pretty sure he just dies. It's not canon, but that's what I take it as. He had a really funny death with the rocks, but you know what? Either way. Next, we are going to go with May. May is going to go into B tier because I like her character. I like how she turns on Azula. But she also is more of similar with Katara, kind of just the love interest. She's the love interest of Zuko, but she kind of doesn't do much else. Like, she turns on Azula to help, but that's about it. Like, she doesn't do a whole lot. I don't remember if she does a whole lot in the comics. I've only read them once or twice, and only one or two of them, so I'm not like the best well-rounded in what happens there, and I don't even know if that's all canon, but I do feel like that she's in the middle, a little bit below A, but I would say she's better than just a one-time character or a character that doesn't do a whole lot, because she did have a point. Next we are going to the owl in the library. That bitch does nothing but ruin everybody else's day. Like, the Fire Nation isn't I know he was trying to keep it sacred so nobody would use knowledge to hurt each other, but the Fire Nation has been using a 100-year war to kill off other people, and what he should be most caring about is other information on, even just information on how to bend. Some water bending, I guarantee, was lost in wherever Katara, I think it was the South Pole or North Pole, whatever it was, lost the knowledge of water bending because all the water benders were killed. And he just cares that it doesn't get used when I think there are certain moments where knowledge should be used for protection. Next we are going to go with Sokka's sword teacher. I think he's an S tier character. He's only a one episode character, which I know is why I put the other characters down in C, but he gets a lot done. A lot done. He teaches Sokka, you messed up in a very unique way. Being one of my funny, it's not exactly that, but it's being your own unique way, which he does find lovely, and that's why he chooses Sokka. And then he also brings up the point, he is not fully like Fire Nation soldier. Oh, the Fire Nation's the best. Oh boy. He joins the White Lotus. He is part of the White Lotus. I'm going to say this now. Most of the White Lotus members will be higher up on this. Unless I have a good enough reason to shove them down the pit, to have them die in a hole. But Sokka's teacher he teaches the sword, he does what he needs to do in less than half an episode, but he does it so well. He does show up again later with the White Lotus, but I still do consider him to be, he's very close to being perfect. If he would have shown up more, or I think he's the one who taught Zuko, if we would have even saw that might have even brought him up to be perfect, but he is close to being a perfect character. Okay, next we are going to go with General Tao. He kills the Water Spirit. D tier. I don't think it needs much. explanation if you've seen the show. In that episode, he gets warned by Uncle Iroh, who he should have no reason but follow, because Uncle Iroh is the brother of the current Fire Nation king. So I do believe that he should have listened. I don't think he really had a reason not to, other than spite for Zuko and Iroh. And his death is well deserved, but I think he should have gone in a worse way. So he is going to go into D tier. Now we are going to go with the murderer of Katara's mom. I am actually only going to put him in C tier. So he was following orders, which is wrong. Those orders are wrong. He should have never followed them. But he was still a soldier, and it's not like he had much of a choice. He was also brought up with the propaganda of Fire Nation's best, blah blah blah, great threat, Water Nation. So I think him killing his mother is sort of understandable, and Katara gives him mercy. Not out of need, not out of want from Zuko, but because she wanted to give him, knowing that he could live. And it was very spiteful to let him live, but I do think that it was right for her to do that. Next, we are going to have the inventor and the inventor's son on one of the air nations. So they both take over Air Nomad Temple, which is fine, because at this point it would have been nearly 100 years since they were gone. For all we know, every single airbender was wiped off the face of the earth. It's not getting used, but they end up taking that space and learning to fly, learning to use the wind. The only reason why they're not higher up on the list is, again, they're kind of just a one-off character just to feed the plot. But the father inventor does actually help Katara's brother build the airships. So I do think that he might be able to get bumped up to B, but I'm going to put him and his son in C tier because that's what I feel is right. Next, we're going to put Zuko's mom. Zuko's mom is going to be in A tier. Great parent, left for Zuko, and in the comics, spoiler, she is actually revealed to still be alive. But for all we know, she is dead somewhere. His dad killed her. But she was a great parent. She tried protecting Zuko as much as she could. That's why she left. And I do believe that she does try her best, and I do think that that is right for her to do, and she does try, which I think is all you can really do as a parent. Okay, next we are going to go with the moon. She is going to go into B tier. So she was born sick, whatever else. She sort of falls in love with she falls in love with Katara's brother, and she shows up for like I forget, it might be 2 episodes, but she does become the moon / water spirit. So she does have a really cool way, but how she ends up dying is sort of because of General Tao, which again, his death is very much deserved, and yeah. So, but she doesn't do much else other than be another love interest, but then also kind of just dying immediately. But it is kind of canon, and even he says it himself. I fell in love with the moon, or whatever the fandom has come up with, and I've always just found it funny. And yeah, so I'm going to put her in B. So she's above a 1 episode, which I know, again, counterintuitive to what I'm saying, but she does have a greater purpose, and that's how Katara gets the healing water, and there's a few things that happen this episode that I do appreciate that happens. Next, we are going to go with the original fire trainer of Aang. He's in D tier. He leaves Aang unattended. He ends up burning Katara. because he loses control, but he also like doesn't help Aang, even though he was told to by Avatar Roku. So, but he just leaves Aang alone to fail, and she ends up burning Katara. So I do blame him for that one. So I'm going to put him in D tier. He's at the top of the D tier though, so it would end up being like that. I am going to rearrange these a long time to see who is at the top of the S, who's on lower of the S. I'll do that as I'm adding more to it now. Next, we're going to add Aang's avatar, his airbending master, friend, teacher. He's going to fall in the B tier. He only shows up for like one episode. I think he gets mentioned in a few, or he at least gets mentioned as an air nomad. He teaches Aang, and he doesn't necessarily want Aang to get hung up in being the avatar. He kind of just wants him to be a kid, but also does understand that he is going to have these responsibilities. So he chooses to help teach him. And I do think that that was a correct thing for him to do, and he did it quite well. And if we look, he killed a lot of Fire Nation soldiers. For the non-violent people in this world, he kills a lot before he goes out. And I think he had a good final stand, which is one of the ways I want to go. So I do quite like his character. So that would end up looking something more like this. Yeah. Next, we are going to grab Ty Lee. Ty Lee is an A tier character. She is not perfect S tier, but she's almost. She is the bubbly of the three. The other two are dark, mysterious. But she's just the bubbly one who doesn't have any bending style. She just uses chi blocks, which she ends up teaching some of the girls inside the warriors, Toshi warriors, or whatever they're called, and she ends up teaching them that, and they learn. And I do think that that was a really cool thing, because I believe that this was based more, this had some Chinese influence, and chi and that stuff is more of a Chinese or Asian, which I do think was really cool how they implemented it. So that is why I find her an A. The reason why I don't find her S tier is that she brings up her sisters and never mentions anything about them ever again. We never get to meet any of them. We don't really learn much about her. Or we get like little hints, but we don't get like full concrete. So maybe if there was a little bit more to her backstory, or how she ended up in a group with the other two girls, I would have her higher. Next, we are going to have the Boulder. The Boulder is S tier. He is a one episode, but he does exactly what he's supposed to do. He does it perfectly. He doesn't even win or anything. He gets kicked by Toph, but it is the funniest thing. And I do believe that that is the right thing. And I love it. I know I'm a hypocrite for that one, but I do love that he only shows up in the one episode. And that he does just get kicked in. And I love it. Next, we're going to go with the girl that Zuko falls in love with. She's going to fall in C tier. She only shows up in like one or two episodes for a few moments. But the reason why I'm almost tempted to put her under B is that it is shown that Zuko does have feelings, but I don't think that that's fully feelings. I think that he's just starting to understand that the Fire Nation are not really the good guys, and he's trying to do that with a girl, and he's a teenage boy, hormones. So I feel like that was a little bit more, but I think if he would have stayed, he probably could have stayed and would have fallen in love with her. But he does go back and go with May, which I feel like is a reasonable choice. Okay, next we are going to go with Avatar Sozin. Yeah, Sozin. I had to find which one. He is going to fall into B tier. So he shows up a few times or is mentioned, but he never gives good advice. Like, every single time he gives any advice, it just is not helpful, or it's the exact opposite of what Aang needs. So I do believe that he should fall in B tier because he shows up, he has his purpose, he does what he's supposed to do. But he doesn't have much to his character other than we know that he is the grandfather of Zuko, which means he would have to be his mother's father, I believe. Okay, next we are going to go with the girl from Ba Sing Se. She's going to fall in B tier. And the reason that she falls into B tier is that she is just creepily funny the entire time that she's in the show. There is no war in Ba Sing Se. And she does what she needs to do for the plot. She's supposed to be creepy. She's supposed to try and lead in, like, whoa, what's happening? There's this big secret conspiracy. And she does what she's supposed to. And I do think that that was the right choice for her character. And I think that she does do it well. But that's just it. She serves her purpose, and she's done with her certain characters. Like the bowler, that's fine. But I felt like maybe there should have been more concrete ending to the stuff that was happening, because Aang doesn't end it at all. In fact, the Weight Lows are the closest things, and I don't even think that fully deals with it, because they're still seen as Earth Nation soldiers, underground soldiers, so like really nothing happens. Next is going to be the Earth King. The Earth King is going to fall into C tier. Bottom of C, almost D. It is not completely his fault because he is being hidden from the war outside. He is just a regular bear, which is the funniest thing because everything that shows a mole rat, it's more than one animal pushed together. Flying bison, like it's more than one thing put together. He just has a bear, which is greatly helping him. But he still doesn't do a whole lot. Like, eventually he does figure out, and then he turns back on the secret group, but not a whole lot happens, because Azula just comes in and takes over, which he didn't really have a time to shine in the light once he does figure out what is happening. Okay, next we're going to go with the grandfather, the father of Sozin. He is going to fall into B tier, no, sorry, C tier. Because, well, he does his purpose. He's supposed to be this all-powerful thing. He killed the last Avatar. He rules over Zuko's father, and he's the ruler until he steps down and then Sozin takes over. But he's also just, like, really mean to his grandson for no reason. Because all he thrives for is power. That is all that he wants in there is power. And Zuko failing to fully go to his sister, but his sister also does blue fire. But I think the reason why she does blue fire is because she is so concrete on being perfect that she's perfectly burning the fire that she throws. That's when fire blows through, glows blue and burns blue. I'm pretty sure that's when it burns perfectly. The chemicals, it burns perfectly, it turns blue, if I remember from one of my science labs that we did. So I do believe that that is the correct spot. He doesn't do a whole lot, but he does what he needs. But he's also like just like a one thing. But his actions go... Actually, no, sorry, I'm going to put him in B tier because I forget. His actions cause the majority of the show. Because he tries to talk to the Avatar, like, we can share our help with people. But then the Avatar is like, no, you want to control the people, which is very true. But his actions lead to the 100-Year War and all of that. Okay, next we're going to go to the Avatar before Roku. I'm going to blank on her name. The chick, the tall, strong, she lives to be really old because of technique or whatever. She's going to fall in A tier. She's willing to kill on sight, which I find very funny in like a kid's show. A character just willing to kill, that it's not the bad guys, but she's also not necessarily a good guy. Kyoshi starts the Kyoshi warriors and stuff, but like she kills a dude, she moves an island, and then kind of just sits on that island and doesn't do a whole lot when she gets there. But she does try. And I think that's all we can really ask for an avatar who is asked to look both over the physical and spiritual world and the nations colliding together. Usually they have to leave out one part that the avatar has to go all in to fix, and then they leave one part, and then it's just a pile, and she ends up leaving the other the other nations kind of to themselves, and then Fire Nation starts to get more powerful, and it's just a whole thing. Okay, we're going to go with the other little guy from Aang that he gets. Momo. He is going to fall into A tier. I find him personally really annoying. That is probably a hot take for most people, but I don't find his antics funny like I do Appa. So he is like a cute pet, so that's why he's up higher and why he's not just like a B character. He was never going to be C because he's in a lot of episodes, and he does have some plot points, and he does help Aang and stuff, but he doesn't do a whole lot that's important or a lot of things that I personally like. Okay, we're going to go with Soki. She is going to be an A tier character. She's a Kuroshi warrior. S. She teaches Sokka that girls can do whatever boys can do. Like, she kicks him down, throws him down, and he learns humility because of her. They also fall in love. I don't think they ever like fully get married or anything. Either way, though, she is a very good character. I like her very much. That is why she will be going into S tier. Now we are going to go with the waterbender from. He is going straight into D tier. He is supremacist. He very, very strong word maybe to use, but he doesn't listen to Katara. He's very sexist. Women should learn healing, and then he gets his ass kicked by her. And I think that was fair enough, and he was wrong, and I think that he does admit it. And then he joins the White Lotus, so like he does have some fixing character development with at least helping, but he doesn't do a whole lot about his sexism, and that is Sokka has that, but then Sokka learns by getting his ass kicked. But he does eventually learn to be better. Okay, and then we're going to go with Sozin. Sozin is going to fall in the A tier. He does exactly what he's supposed to do. He drives the character. He hurts his son. That drives him to try and catch the Avatar, which feeds his goals. His goals are very clear, which is to take over the rest of the world. He's Phoenix King, but then gives the other child to his daughter because he loves his daughter. Everything that his daughter has ever done, he's always seen as perfect. And I do think that is where he falls, is A, if not S tier. He's a bad person, but his goals are clear and it makes sense to him. And I think it even makes sense to me a bit why he does what he does, largely due to his grandfather, but he is not a good person. Okay, next we are going to, I don't remember who most of these people are. He will go into D tier because he does the Chun-Li, the secret force in the Earth Kingdom that helps the Earth King not learn about the outside. He does run that. And then these, never mind. That guy, he is the one on the Kyoshi Island where he helps burn the thing of Kyoshi and the avatars because he has a thing against it. But I could be wrong. And then these two I'm not even going to put anywhere because I don't remember a single thing about them. But this is my... where I do believe that they all fall. Yeah, so I do believe that that's where they all fall. So, just to go over real quick, I think Appa, Boomy, Toph, Zuko, and Iroh are perfect characters. I do not think that they could have been written any better. Let's see what most people end up voting. Okay, so we have... yeah, I feel like most of these you could definitely say. But, like, I found him annoying. I found a few of these annoying. So, yeah. Either way, these are, again, personal choice, so you can decide whatever you want for these, but this is what I do believe. This is a newer channel. I've been live streaming, but sometimes I just want to sit down and just play a game and record it, or even move my streams to here and edited down version. So this is going to be more of a talk channel than anything else for when I'm bored, or if you guys have questions or my thoughts. I know that I'm just a nobody, but I do have ideas, especially about psychological and sociology, especially those two things I'm very much into. Like, why do we hurt other people? Why do bad things happen? Why do, like, all of that? I would rather not get political or religious on here because that's just a whole mess I don't want to touch. But maybe if we get to like 10,000 subscribers by next year, I will make a political video. Maybe we'll set that. You know what? I'll make a promise right now. If we can get to 5,000 viewers before May, I will make a political video on the world of Avatar or any show that we want to pick. And I will sit down and watch that myself. Or I would rather not do real life, or religion. I'll do religion on any religion, Buddhism, Christian. I will do basically anything. And if we can get to 1,000 subscribers by May, I will do a Q&A depending on which you guys ask me in the comments. Okay, well, bye.